Welcome to stage 4 of the 2025 Presidential Cycling Tour of Türkiye. We've already seen likely GC contenders in action on the climbs on the last two surprisingly demanding stages, although they ultimately ended in bunch sprints from groups of 50 riders or more. We won't see that today atop the final 9-kilometer climb at an average gradient of nearly 1 in 10 or 10%. It's destined to end with major gaps. Stage 3 left 45 riders, 14 seconds behind the race leader Tibor Del Grosso. If you can be sure of anything in cycling, it's that we'll see a changing of the guard today. Let's look at the reason why. The race heads north out of Marmaris following yesterday's roads to the foot of the first official climb, an 8.3 kilometer Category 1 ascent at 7%. The route then traces a long arc at over 600 meters altitude. The intermediate sprint is actually higher than the Cat 1 climb, and the Treasures of Türkiye sprint is higher still. From there, a long technical descent takes the riders down to a twisting, rolling coast road, which leads to the final 8.8 kilometer, near 10% climb up to the stage finish at Kuran. The sprinters look at a profile like this with resignation. To a climber in good shape, it contains a world of opportunities. Now's a good opportunity to hear from my co-commentator Ronan McLaughlin. Tough climbing ahead, Ronan, and rain forecast.
Yeah, certainly a different day ahead for these riders than they've had over the past few days. And Vincent Dorm, we're seeing on our screens here, will be hoping to retain his King of the Mountains jersey. We have very challenging conditions lying ahead for the riders today.
Giovanni Lonardi hasn't yet had the logo printed on his shirt. And Jakub Mareczko, Kuba, 31 today. 50 pro wins for Jakub Mareczko. Fabulous rider. Well, it's been all about Alpecin so far, Ronan, but they have the race leader's jersey, but not a rider beyond Tibor Del Grosso in the top 49.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing's what counts for these top teams, and having taken 2 of the 3 stages so far and held the leader's jersey throughout, they'll be happy with their tour so far. And I don't think today's the type of stage that they've come here targeting. They've really left all their GC ambitions at home with sprint capabilities on pretty much any of the stages that may come down to a bunch sprint.
The 4 category jerseys starting, as is the tradition these days, at the front of the peloton. Tibor Del Grosso, we've already mentioned, in turquoise. Giovanni Lonardi in green. Vincent Dorn in the red jersey, there he is, and Willie Schmidt was in white there. Those two, turquoise and red, in conversation. A no from Tibor Del Grosso, and Vincent Dorn will be hoping for a yes from him for some mountain points today. It's not going to be easy, though.
No, certainly not. We do have plenty of points on offer with both a first category and a horse category climb. But the riders are climbing out of Marmaris here on the exact same route that they descended into the town yesterday afternoon. But for whatever reason, that climb up to the KOM point at the end of yesterday's stage is not categorized today. And so if Dorn wants any points, he's going to have to make it to that first category climb. We see him on the attack as soon as the flag is dropped at the end of the neutral zone there, trying to infiltrate today's breakaway.
Yes, indeed. And he has on his wheel there Burak Abay, who's been consistently in the mountains competition so far. That's Jasper de Boist is the Lotto rider going with them, and Geens of Flanders Baloise, who was in the breakaway yesterday, getting in the breakaway again today. And someone from Polti Visit Malta just trying to dance across to the Boist, looking over his shoulder. I think there's another Lotto rider in that group, or coming across to him. Or the very first opening meters, opening salvos of the stakes. They'll do about 27 kilometers before they get to the foot of the first categorized climb of the day, and they're going to need a good gap if they're going to make it to the top of that climb, because the peloton with the real climbers to the fore today will be up there in a trice.
Yeah, their only real opportunity today, all going well for the peloton, will be that that first category climb. We expect the GC contenders and the bunch to have their teams chasing on the front to ensure that the whole race comes together into the bottom of the final climb, and they can fight it out for GC honours here.
Well, De Boist is a lead-out man. He led out Andre Greipel. He led out Caleb Ewan in his day, and he's working there with his teammate Baptiste Weistroffer, and with Vincent Dawn on their wheel. They're opening a little bit of a gap. They're really attacking the stage.
Yeah, they certainly are, and trying to force the matter here, trying to force a gap and force this breakaway to get clear of the peloton. But we can just see the peloton coming around the corner just behind them. They haven't yet established this breakaway, and sometimes can be hard with such a large group to get everybody contributing equally, and if everybody isn't contributing equally, you start getting more and more riders looking to sit on and skip turns and trying to pull a fast one effectively.
Well, about 15 riders have got away.
Including Abai, who did take some King of the Mountains points yesterday. First place on the second climb and second place on the first climb. So he's up there in that classification as well, meaning that Dorn won't get it all his own way. But Abai he's not quite as close to Dorn as he could be, because he actually got deducted a point by the commissaires in the King of the Mountains competition yesterday evening.
Nathaniel Berhane, the 2013 winner of this race for Istanbul, is in the breakaway. There is Heinz we got a good look at yesterday, and we also saw the jersey of Norman Vahtra, who is the national champion of Estonia in that group. But this is Jonas Ricard, who's got away in the rain, and he's just sweeping up the intermediate sprint points. 5 points, 3 bonus seconds. Not much earthly use to him, really. €150 be handy, though. That's what he gets for going across the line first there. Mustafa Tekin and Gorka Sorrain of Caja Rural gets across, and they snaffle up the points there, but the peloton not too far behind them. Ricard is a powerhouse, isn't he? He's just a powerhouse. Man of the match so far, man of the race so far. He's 2 lead-outs, 2 stage wins. Kern Farmer lead the peloton, the chasing group. 42.1 kilometers to go, and most of the peloton wearing rain capes. The Kern Farmer boys working hard at the front, keeping nice and warm despite the pouring rain.
Yeah, very, very difficult conditions for these riders here today, and part of the challenge they're facing here is that the temperature has dropped down from about 21 degrees when they started this morning to a mere 12 degrees Celsius as we're seeing these shots here now. So it's both cold and wet for these riders now, and that's only going to be more so with a long technical descent to come, where these riders will be looking to wrap up as much as they can before that descent.
So a new lead group. Gorka Sorrain is the Caja Rural rider who's just peeled off the front to allow Javier Isasa of Euskaltel Euskadi to come through, and Mustafa Tekin is in there. Victor Vareku, we saw on the attack yesterday, and can't be held back. It's his second attack, this in fact, and this one is stuck, and Jonas Ricard is with them there. Good man to have for the descent. He wouldn't be a great lead-out man if he wasn't a great descender, I should say. And there is the peloton. Difficult to pick out riders and names. Everyone in, well, not quite everyone, but in black rain capes.
Yeah, it makes them very difficult to pick out here, although some do lift up their cape just enough so that you can make out their numbers. Otherwise, we're relying on these logos on the black. Like Uno X there had a logo, but we've seen a Astana rider here with the blue and gold helmet and an all black, no logo rain cape, which does make it difficult to pick them out.
Well, it's pretty uncomfortable with rain being kicked up from the road surface, coming down from the heavens as well, all directions. And very ginger Jonas Ricard on this descent. Look how slow they're taking it. These roads are a little bit notorious for when it rains, which it doesn't a great deal in Turkey, the roads can become very slippery. A kind of slick comes up through the surface, and yep, they're slow through the corners, but the slowest thing of all would be to go down and
I think Ricard there is suffering from a front wheel puncture, so that may explain. Oh, as we've got a crash here back in the peloton.
There's a crash. I can see jerseys of Caja Rural riders, those telltale green helmets. Burgos had 3 riders there. Well, the Treasures of Turkey sprint coming through. I think that is Mustafa Tekin gone through. Jonas Ricard has picked up another €100 again. In second place, and Gorka Sorarain for Caja Rural. Caja Rural, who started the stage with 5 riders, the same as XDS Astana, in that bunch of riders at 14 seconds from the leader. So really well positioned, but that unfortunate crash has rather diminished their ranks for the final climb today. So we'll have to see what they can save from an awkward predicament. Always part of the equation in cycling, unfortunately.
Yeah, it just seemed to be a bit of a compression in the road there as the peloton came down a steep descent, and then sort of as we see another crash here actually, and one rider being helped back to his feet.
A Caja Rural rider, that is Daniel Babor.
That might actually have been just the same crash, just seeing another, getting an update effectively.
So the peloton is just snaffling up, just devouring the rear part of the lead group.
As we get onto the climb now, the rest of the breakaway has been caught. We're just actually seeing Del Grosso here, our race leader, yeah, just as we expected.
Abdicating his leadership.
Yes, yes.
And these are the last riders of the early breakaway, just being eaten up. Gorka Sorarain, start of the day, 11 minutes and 22 seconds back. And behind him, Victor Van Eekhuta, 4 minutes and 13 he started as, but any second now they'll disappear behind a group of the elite climbers in this presidential tour of Turkey, and I think we might say the end game begins, and it begins with a Wout Poels attack. Wout Poels darts off the front, and it's Juan Guillermo Martinez, the Colombian, who's the first of those 2 picnic post-NL riders. The second one is
I think it's Van den Broek, yeah, it's
yep.
following Wout Poels here as an initial attack.
The second oldest rider in the race at 37, Wout Poels, followed by one of the younger members, a 20-year-old Colombian from Boyacá, from Ubata, which is the same village as Chepe Castelblanco, Jose Castelblanco, old Kelme rider from the 1990s. And those 2 at the front, and opening a significant gap.
Yeah, forging clear here, and just we see the other picnic post NL and Astana riders immediately, next 2 riders on the road. So top 4 positions on the road being held as we see it at the moment by the same 2 teams.
There is Frank van den Broek looking over his shoulder. These 2 working well together. The Colombian just coming past Wout Poels to work with him. Caja Rural's Jakub Otruba, 6'3" figure, but some way off the pace. Euskadi started the day with 4 riders in contention. They too are dropping away. These are some of the these are riders in the sort of top 15, but Paul's on the really steep gradients, putting the young, inexperienced Colombian through his paces there. Paul's languid, relaxed, efficient, and Juan Guillermo Martinez out of the saddle, throwing the bike from side to side to stay with him. It's not a steady climb at all, is it? It's kind of in steps. The gradient rises and then relaxes, rises and then relaxes. And Wout Poels has always fulfilled that role, even when he was with Sky, working with the leader of Team Sky. His role was always to raise and lower the pace, and make things difficult for those riders who like it to be steady and with a sort of steady heart rate and a steady profile.
Yeah, Wout Poels is a renowned climber and has performed in some of the biggest climbs in World Tour cycling, coming close on Angliru and setting up Chris Froome and others for stage wins and GC wins and Tour de France, Vuelta a España, all sorts, yeah. Getting his own chances here today.
Still 5 kilometers to go. It's easy to overcook it, isn't it? Even an experienced rider like Wout Poels.
Yeah, very difficult to get it right. And you remember, they won't be riding this climb entirely blind, but they've certainly never ridden it before. They'll be relying on information that they can glean from Strava and from other VeloViewer and other apps that they use, and they'll be relying on the team directors in the car to feed that to them during the stage here as well, just giving them an indication of what the next kilometre looks like, how far there is to go, the gradients ahead and that, and the race situation around them, as we see these riders behind slowly eking their way back to our 2 groups of 2 here.
2 XDS Astana riders, 2 riders from Picnic Post NL, and little trio quartet of riders behind. This is the quartet of riders behind them. It's Abel Boulderstone for Caja Rural Seguros RGA. Actually doing a pretty good job of salvaging something from a stage that was made difficult by the crash at midway point for Caja Rural, but Boulderstone, a Catalan rider with a British name.
Another attack by Poels.
Just chasing up, and Poels has gone again. And it's almost choreographed. Look at the way in which Juan Guillermo Martinez gave chase, and then Harold Lopez just tucked in behind him, the Ecuadorian, behind the Colombian, behind the Dutchman.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Poels can force this tiny advantages that he has at the moment, or if these 2 riders behind can bridge across to him. But certainly initially here, Poels looking very, very strong. He looks like he's made an attack here, but he still looks like he's in control. You know, we see him here fixing his well, not sure exactly what he's doing, but he's reaching up and touching his nose with seemingly not too much bother. And if he was absolutely full gas, then there might be a different story.
There's the reigning champion, Frank van den Broek, the winner of the 2024 Presidential Tour of Türkiye. But he's turning himself inside out, and he's still not getting across to his teammate and the XDS Astana Ecuadorian Harold Lopez, nominally the leader of the teams, wearing Dossard 21. Poels is in Dossard 24, but a wealth of tactical possibilities here.
Yeah, and just watch it now. I expect Lopez to make a move here. He's been sitting on the Picnic Post NL rider since Wout Poels' attack here, letting him do all the work. He's even been sitting alongside him, sort of indicating, you know, I'm still here, maybe playing a little mind game or 2. And I mean, the tactical playbook would suggest that you should let your opponent chase your teammate for as long as possible, and then jump them if you can, and I expect that's pretty much what we're about to see here.
Poles taking repeated looks over one shoulder, then over the other shoulder, see where Lopez is, and yeah, another acceleration from Juan Guillermo Martinez with Lopez on his wheel, but now it's Poles who gets out of the saddle post. Another acceleration.
And Lopez is gone.
Lopez is gone. So at the moment, XTS Astana, two riders closing in on the finish line, first and second in the stage. If they can bring this home, well, it'll be a great performance after them. Don't forget, they won the stage yesterday.
Alpecin went 2 stages in a row to open this race, and it looks like Astana now are going to make it 2 stages in a row for that team.
50 meters to go for Wout Poels. No stopping him now. He's ridden virtually the whole thing in the saddle, out of it only to post a couple of accelerations, and that is the most economical assertion of mountain prowess you'll see. Poels gets the stage win. His teammate Harold Lopez inside the final 100 meters. There he is inside the final 50 meters with the Colombian too far back to make any inroads. XTS Astana 1 and 2. Lopez comes across, and there is the turquoise jersey. He's relinquished the race lead, but he's got the best one-handed wheelie in the peloton, and he's done it right in front of the fixed camera on the final corner. Good job from Tibor Del Grosso at the end of the stage. He's been good value for money for the past 3 days.
Yeah, I wonder how the riders alongside him feel watching him do a wheelie, as they're maybe just trying to get themselves to the finish.
Little hug from Harold Lopez there. Good sportsmanship, good understanding between those two. They had the possibility of a 1-2 if Martinez had brought Lopez back to him, then he could have attacked. So they had all angles covered today, XTS Astana, and a physical win, but also a tactical win. Well, I think we can have a few words from Wout Poels reflecting on his stage win.
What a win. Was it expected, or were you working for Harold Lopez?
No, yeah, we were both really strong, and it's always nice when you have a really strong teammate, so you can play the game. So I was the first one to attack, and I luckily could manage to stay away, and yeah, it was a really good team performance.
You did 2 attacks. The first one, the young Colombian from Picnic followed you. What did you think at that time?
Yeah, because Nico was pulling, and yeah, his job was done. So I thought I tried to make the first shift. So we went away, and then Harold came with Van der Broek back, and then yeah, we just had to play the game, and yeah, it worked well.
So a veteran rider, but still able to win. How does that feel?
Yeah, you know, I'm getting a little bit older, but the last few years my level is still really strong, and it's always nice to get a win. It's always really difficult to win, so of course I'm really happy with that.
You're also in a good position to win the Tour of Turkey overall, even if there's one more stage, Hilly.
Yeah, I mean a few more stages to go, and we have to see day by day. Also with the rain, there were very tricky conditions today, especially in the downhill. The roads were really slippery, and there were a lot of crashes. So hopefully everyone is okay. So we still have to manage a few obstacles.
You are a Tour de France stage winner, Vuelta a España stage winner. Giro d'Italia is looming. Is the goal to complete the trilogy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there's a preparation race for me for the Giro, but it's like in the plan of to be like in top shape in the Giro. I know my level should be good here now, and it's really good for the confidence. But first the Tour of Turkey, and then we see about the Giro.
Well, excellent interview, excellent performance all round, both from Wout Poels and from the XTS Astana team. All told, Poels stands atop the podium at the end of stage 4, next to a teammate in Harold Lopez. And I think we can just take a look at the stage classification. There he is, Wout Poels, Harold Lopez. 2 Picnic Post NL riders in 3rd and 4th. Abel Balderston coming across in 5th. Good ride from him to salvage something for Caja Rural. Giovanni Carboni in 10th place. GC looks pretty much the same. Poels, Lopez, Martinez, Van den Broek, Balderston in 5th place. Well, a great stage, the definitive mountain stage. and more great racing action from the Presidential Tour of Turkey tomorrow. Join us.